Hey, welcome to another episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Another hedonistic personal preference review and another brew review and another wild funky beer and another Trappist beer and another Belgian beer. All that being said, this is needs no introduction. Orval Trappist Ale. I have had this beer many times before, and this is one of those really weird beers because this is the only beer the monastery makes, and it doesn't fit into the Trappist single ale, double, triple, or quad. Obviously, it's 6.9 ABV. Although I was reading somewhere online where it says actually 6.2, but they had to put 6.9 for the American audience. I don't know why, but so that's like way too strong for a Trappist single. Also, going by the color, it's way too dark for a Trappist single, and it's certainly not a triple, and it's definitely not a double or a quad. So it doesn't fall into one of the four Trappist categories, even though it's made by Trappist monks. So then there's also, could it be Belgian blonde, like your Leffe and 𝓑𝓻𝓮𝓲𝓷, those type of beers? Well, I don't think so. Mostly because of the color here. So you can see it's quite copper, and blondes are blondes. So then I was reading the BJP specs, and I think it's best described as a Belgian pale ale. It's matching up with the SRM definitely, although it's much stronger. But as far as like the ingredients, I was checking a bunch of homebrew sites, and the ingredients all mention, mostly it's like almost 50, well, not 50, mostly like pale malt and Belgian Pilsner, and then a bunch of Kira Vienna and specialty malts and stuff in there, and 𝓑𝓻𝓮𝓀𝓮𝓻𝓲 for hops, which they mention as characteristic ingredients for Belgian pale ale. And it's definitely not a blonde. So, and it's re-fermented in the bottle with Brett. So we're going to judge this as an American Wild Ale, which I think they should rename that category to just Wild Ale or Global Wild Ale. Because, I mean, is there anything really American about this beer? I don't think so. So I'm going to say this is a 28A Brett beer with a base style of 24B Belgian Pale Ale. So let's jump right into it. Ah, lovely Brett smell. Just that classic, countryside terroir character. Getting a lot of green grape, white grape, a little bit of green apple, green pear. Definitely the kind of horse blanket, hay, straw, whatever you want to call it, those types of things. As a Brett beer, yeah, it's pretty good, and it's interesting because like this bottle is creeping up on a year old, and it's not like a Brett bomb, but you could, there's enough to let you know, wow, like that's definitely a Brett beer. So I'm gonna go. I could go 10 or 11 on aroma. I'm going to go 11. I don't think it's quite a perfect 12, but 11's really nice. All right, so we already talked about appearance, but, copper color, a little bit hazy. It's mostly clear when I poured it, and if I hold up to the light, it's mostly clear. I think I got a little bit of the lees in the glass here. And the foam did come up to the rim. It'll probably stick around, but we still got a little bit more left in I love the bowling pin bottle shape here. So, yeah, good looking beer. As far as the SRM, I think it's just about 13. Yeah, it's like 13, 17, which is, upper end of the Belgian Pale Ale spectrum there. So I'm going to go the full 3 out of 3 in appearance there. And while I'm on the rant, they should change the name of Belgian Pale Ale to Belgian Amber Ale, because that's really what it is. All right, so let's dig in here. Cheers. Oh wow! I mean, when I was smelling it, like I was saying, like the Brett theirs and a Brett bomb. Once you taste it, it's definitely a Brett bomb in the taste. Just so like it's like apple, pear, a little bit of peach, like I said, like this, it's dry up front, and then through the middle you're getting this juicy, fruity kind of a flavor, and then it's dry again on the finish. And now that I'm paying attention to it, I am like starting to really notice like that like slightly darker maltiness to it. So like there's like a tiny little bit of like a caramel kind of a thing going there. Yeah, so finishing like with a fairly spicy kind of a hop flavor. Actually, and then, I take that back. It's not that it's bitter. It's just that it's really, really well attenuated. So like there's just no residual sugar here. And so it doesn't really need a lot of hops. And it's just the Brett is just sucked all the sweetness out of the beer. So it's quite dry. So it's like the impression of bitterness without actually being bitter. I wish it actually had more of the fruity flavor. Because the more that I'm getting into it, the more I'm noticing it's actually, fairly malty, and it's just that Brett is The bread's more complex on the nose than it is on the palate, which is weird because usually it's the other way around. I mean, it's very, very strong tasting, but it's just not complex. Yeah, so I mean, it's good. It's just not amazing. I've had this beer, many times over the years, and it has to be like at a certain age where it's absolutely delicious. I wouldn't say that's true on this particular bottle, but I would say it's good. So as a Brett beer, yeah, it's very, very bready, but it's not. It's lacking the complexity of what I would prefer. So I'm gonna go. I can kind of go 15 or 16 on here. I'm gonna say 15. Maybe we'll come back to that. Mouthfeel. I think you already know what it is. I'd probably put about a medium body and high to very high carbonation. That's all it is. I mean, it's quite easy to drink. I would not call it refreshing. It's definitely not refreshing. I mean, it's 100 degrees out. It's not. It'd be fun to drink in the summer in the heat. I think you would just sweat it off. But any other time of the year, this isn't really like what I would consider a refresher. Like Leffe is much more refreshing than this beer. And I think that's only slightly less strong than it. But anyway, so I mean, the drinkability on this is nice. Mouthfeel is pretty comfortable. I think the carbonation is like a tad high, but I mean, it's re-fermented with Brett, so that's just going to happen. So I'm still going to go pretty high. I'm going to go 4 out of 5. It's not a perfect 5. Overall impression, I think I'm going to go 9 out of 10. That's a total score of 42 out of 50. I agree with that. I mean, it's an excellent beer. And, I mean, a lot of people would give this, just a 50 and call it a day. But it's so hard to judge to a specific style. So, again, I'm just kind of going hedonistic personal preferences here. And it's like, I really like it, but it doesn't blow me away like it used to. But if you never had it, I mean, go out and try it. So there you go. 42 out of 50, 9 out of 10 for Orval Trappist Ale. It's available pretty much everywhere, so go out and get one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.